So thank you, Mark, for agreeing to talk to us about your business setup. I know you've been counseling me and telling me some things, but I thought that my tribe, we all needed to hear the same information since you're the specialist there. So I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Okay, well, I want to say thank you very much, Vonda, for letting me come in and speak with you guys about this subject. I think it's very, very important for everyone. Even if a person doesn't even have a business in mind yet, I think that everyone should actually formulate some type of business with the state in which they live in. For the simple reason of, number one, is you'll be able to save on taxes. And number two is that whenever you decide to launch something, it's already been in place. The LLC, the C corporation has already been in existence. So therefore you have something called time in place, or you have something called history. So it makes it easier to get financing. It makes it easier to get loans. It makes it easier to get credit cards. It makes it just easier if you ever decide to do something. Even if you decide not to do something, you could just formulate the business and you can put it on the shelf and then you don't do anything with it. Maybe give it to one of your children, your grandchildren, or something like that. But at the same time, at least something is given away. A lot of us are in different types of careers, and it's really, really important for us to protect our professional careers, our professional licenses. And so therefore, this is why it's really, really important. But what I'd like to do is start is I definitely want to let you guys know about who I am. My name is Mark Whitener. I run a business that's called the Whitener Group LLC right here in Houston, Texas. I basically have about 7 different divisions that's part of my business. So I formulated something called a holding company. And then therefore you have one company at the top, you have several companies underneath the bottom of it that does several different things. So you can participate into different industries whenever you set up your business, like what I have done. And I basically got the business model from a gentleman by the name of Warren Buffett. I'm pretty sure we know who Warren Buffett is, right?
I think I might have heard of him before.
Yeah, so he has a company that's called Berkshire Hathaway. So when you really look at his company, he participates in the candy industry because he has See's Candies. He also participates in the diamonds industry. He has Hellsberg Diamonds. He participates in a home manufacturing business. He has he has Acme Brick Company, and also he has a home building company. He also participates in the insurance industry. He has Geico Insurance. He also participates in the food industry. He has, what's that company called? Dairy Queen, that's it. And also you participate in the, I guess, well, I don't know exactly what industry you want to call it, but Heinz Ketchup. So so therefore, you know, in the food supplement industry. So he has all these different industries, but yet one company owns all those companies called Berkshire Hathaway. So when you look at that, you say, wow, you know, why is this company able to do these type of things? Well, you could do the exact same thing too with your business. So a lot of us, we may be involved in one type of business, but we may want to get into doing a home flipping. We may want to get into doing, maybe clothing apparel. We may want to get involved in doing, like a lot of my buddies, they're actually wholesalers for cars. So they got the car business going. And some of my friends, you know, they're in the construction industry. I just labeled 4 different industries, but then you want to do is you want to have one company at the top. And I'm going to show you that through this presentation. Can I just launch and you'll be able to see it, or do you have to give it the screen?
You have to share screen.
Okay, all right. So what do I need to do? Or
you see share screen at the bottom?
Share screen at the bottom. I see. Let me move this up. Okay, here we go. Share screen right here. Okay, let me see here. Let me bring this up right here. So are you able to see?
Yes. No. No.
What about now?
No.
You can't see it at all?
No.
Okay. Here. Okay, what about now? Can y'all see that?
No.
What about now?
Oh, wait, something's coming.
Okay, something's starting. Okay,
Yep.
there you go.
You can see it, okay. All right, let me go ahead and see if I can launch it like this. Can you see it really big now?
It's big enough.
Or maybe it's a little bit on the time delay. Maybe it's a little
No,
bit,
it's not big enough.
it's not big enough? I mean, it's extremely huge on my end. I can see the whole, I fill up the whole screen,
I tapped mine and it got bigger.
okay?
It's big enough for me.
Okay. Okay, so everybody can see this, I suppose. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to share with you this right here. So, well, first of all, I do apologize. Let me start right here with this, okay? I have something what I set up, it's called a corporate headquarters. And basically, that's basically where I'm at right now. And don't worry about all this stuff on the background, you know, behind me and stuff. It's my whole presentation. I get tired of opening up a computer every time somebody comes to my office and I'm sharing stuff with them. So I took my whole presentation, I put it on the wall, put contact paper on the wall so I could just stand up and I can point to stuff. So it makes it very functional for me. So I'm at 9900 West Park. We just finished a 3-year lease in March 31st of 2022. March 31st, 2022. We just finished a 3-year lease. We just negotiated and signed for another 5-year lease at the same address. Now, a lot of people say, man, why are you signing up for such a long lease? Well, the thing about it is that I run a business. I'm not going anywhere. I've been in business for myself for 27 years. And I do firmly believe my conviction about owning a business is so strong that I don't, and when I'm speaking, you guys, please don't ever think I'm attacking you or anything. It's just some of the fundamental beliefs that I have, you know, as being a business owner. I don't believe that a person should run a business out of a house. I do believe that, you know, get an office. And the reason why is that you can get loans easier. You can get credit easier. You can actually get government funding and financing easier. You can get government contracts easier. And besides, also, whenever you have a business, your information is exposed to the natural public. And the natural public does not need to know where you actually house your family and where you live, you know, where you have your privacy at. So I have a corporate lease because, you know, these are some of the choices I've made. Now, it's not very expensive. And I tell people all the time, I say, don't think you have to spend $2,500 in order to do this. You don't. I only spend $333 a month. My lease in my office is cheaper than my Mercedes car note. So therefore, you know, it's functional. And what I also have done here is I've helped out a lot of other people who want to use my office address so they can have a corporate address. And that's basically, it's called authorized representative. So therefore, you know, you can use our office address to represent your business. And then, so therefore, when mailing things come in, you'll definitely be able to get your mail. And so therefore, we make our office functional. As you can see there, I've been doing business formations for about 4 years. And of course, I've been in business for myself for about 27 years. And I do a lot of different types of business, but I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys the several different sections of the business that I do. And what I'm doing here, I'm just sharing with you guys some credibility about what I do. And so some people, you know, they actually say, you know, what makes you qualified to do this type of stuff? Well, that's what I'm going to share is show that credibility. The first business I do have here is called TrueBusinessCredit.com. And we actually help companies to actually build business credit for their business. You must have an EIN number. You must have an LLC or C corporation. Then we also help people to get business loans, TrueBusinessLending.com. We also do something that's called P3 Credit Builder. We help people to strengthen their personal credit trade lines and personal credit by actually helping them to obtain positive, permanent, and primary trade lines to help boost their personal credit score. We run a program for the veterans where we show veterans through a Senate bill, Texas Senate Bill 938, where they can actually get an LLC or a C corporation set up with the Secretary of State of Texas for absolutely complimentary. They don't have to pay any state fees. So in other words, they can get a business set up for free. Then also we run a program called List of Grants. So you have a business, you're looking for grants for your business. We have a list of over 300 plus grants that you can apply for. Business Services Today, this is where we do our corporate structuring and business filings and do our business formations. And then we also run a bond business where we're insurance brokers. Now, just to say all those right there, that kind of make up the Whitener group. So when you really look at the structure in which I had set up right here, everything starts with the Whitener Group and we funnel everything down. So the Whitener Group is basically set up like a holding company. And this is the same thing that I'm encouraging anybody and everybody to do at the same time. At any moment, I could take any one of these other companies underneath here, which are called DBAs. That means my holding company owns them. I could turn any one of these companies underneath there into an LLC as well. So all I gotta do is just pay the $300 state filing fee in order to make it happen. But today, what I want to talk to you guys about is why you should formulate an LLC or do an incorporation. And basically, number one thing, well, I know this shows taxes here, but the number one thing is really is protection. You got to get protected. So therefore, if something happens, then therefore you can't come after you. I have
Your screen didn't change.
my screen didn't change.
Mm-mm.
What is it showing right now?
You, corporate headquarters.
Corporate headquarters? Okay. All right. I think it's on a delay. The internet must be on a delay or something.
Hmm.
Because I see why formulate your Texas taxes.
But we see it over to the left, but not in the main.
Over to the left. Huh. Okay, well, let me just do this then. I don't know what else to do with this thing. So we have a website that's called businessservicestoday.com. Underneath that website, we actually show people how to actually very easy fill out our form or fill out a form so they can actually start the process of getting their business to be formulated so they can actually get protected through the Secretary of State of Texas. The whole idea of it is, like I indicated before, is to protect your personal assets. Well, I do have a little bit of a situation going with a gentleman right now. He was running his trucking business as a DBA underneath his personal Social Security number, and one of his guys got into an accident. He's now being sued for $750,000. He came to us like about a month after the accident and a lawsuit's going through, and he wants to set up a corporation now. He sees the value of it now. And I run into several small situations like these all the time. And so I always tell people, go ahead and get set up properly the first time. You don't have any problems. Even if you're flipping houses or you have rental houses, somebody walks out in the yard, they stumble over one of those tree roots that's growing out the yard, out the ground, you're still held liable, responsible as a business owner. So therefore, they don't sue you personally. I mean, I can go on and on. Someone who runs a cosmetology business, they're doing coloration in someone's hair, and they put the wrong strength on there, and it could burn somebody's scalp. You know, they get together with a nice, slick lawyer, they're going to sue that cosmetologist and all their personal assets. Someone who builds houses, you know, they got construction guys out there walking around, and they step on a nail, it shoots through their foot. I've seen that happen before as well on a construction site. And so then what happens is the guy can't work anymore. He has a loss of income. He has medical bills. Guess what he's going to do? He's going to sue the job site. But guess what? If all three of these entities I'm talking about are set up in an LLC, and then if they go to court, and then the judge says, how much is the business worth? And you say, hey, judge, we got $300 in the bank account. Guess what the judge is going to say? Okay, pay them $300. Even if they do win a lawsuit, let's just say they win $500,000. It's easy to go ahead and file bankruptcy on your business and open up a new business, an LLC or C corporation, and start doing business all over again. I mean, we have a wonderful, and now I know I'm gonna get myself in trouble when I say this, right? We have a wonderful ex-president that does this all the time, Donald Trump. He formulates a business, he squeezes and maximizes everything out of it, from taxes and protection and shelter, and he does a bankruptcy and he just starts something new. Now, I'm not trying to tell people just to do this on purpose, but I'm just telling people, and I'm sharing with people, that these are some of the rules and regulations that you have access to because you are a business owner. And then also, it's one of the most simplest, easiest things there is to open. Now, I would, if you think that it's really hard to open a business, just think how hard it's going to be to defend yourself if somebody has a liability lawsuit against you. That's hard. To file an LLC or do it for the state of Texas, it only takes 3 documents, or basically 3 pieces of paper. It only takes 3 pieces of paper. That's it. I mean, it's so simple. This stuff is so simple. It's not that hard at all. And I always work with people and I tell people, I say, listen, if you want me to show you how to do it, I don't have a problem showing you how to do it. It's okay. Now, did the screen change again now? Have the screen changed?
No.
I apologize. I have no idea how this, I mean, I'm changing it and it says, and I'm sharing the screen. I have no idea why it's not moving.
It says slide 14 of 20.
You could be sharing the wrong screen.
It says
possible.
click to add note, wherever that is on your screen.
Who? What about?
It says click to add note. Maybe if you just click it,
No, he's probably sharing the wrong screen.
it's the wrong screen. Oh,
'Cause
it's the same.
You logged
No.
on here twice, didn't you?
No, well, I have someone in my office. They want to see the presentation. So she has my phone watching the presentation from another room.
Oh, okay, got it.
But
Tell her to come help you share your screen.
Audrey, can you come in, please?
I just love her.
Audrey, come help her.
Well,
Don't worry, when I edit this, I'll edit this part out, okay?
well, I'm gonna show you what I have on my screen.
Well, I see yours moving.
Turn this down.
I love this. I love this. This is real life right here.
Back to me. I need them to see me so I can tell them.
Take that mode off of that.
Where?
This one.
Right there. Oh, let me do that. I want the one. No.
You might need to access it and share from this.
Yeah, but that one.
Out move.
There it goes.
Right there.
That's it? Oh.
Yep.
Okay, I had it real big. I do apologize. Okay, let's do it like this.
Yeah, see, just click it. Good job.
Is that good?
Yep.
Oh, crap.
Is that better right there?
Oh, yeah.
Try to click on the slideshow at the top. That way it'll show the whole presentation in full.
Kind of at the top middle,
Top middle.
up, left,
Over.
right there.
There you go.
Oh, from the beginning. And custom.
Is that bigger? Is that it?
You didn't click it.
I did click it.
Oh, wow.
I did click it. Matter of fact, you can click it down here at the bottom down here too. Here it is right down here.
And click it down there.
You click it down here. Don't worry about it. I'll just go like this. I'll just do it like this.
I guess you gotta click that X. But okay, go ahead. It's bigger.
It's bigger. Okay. All
It
right.
was bigger, now it's smaller.
Smaller now?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, what about this? Is it bigger now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So these are the different companies that I've actually set up underneath my holding company. Were you guys able to see this before?
No,
No.
You didn't? Okay. All right. Let me start here. Okay. Were you guys able to see this right here before?
that's the only thing we saw.
The only thing so? Okay. All right. Okay. So what I've done here is that underneath the Whitener Group LLC, I've actually set this up as a holding company. And when I set up as a holding company, I simply just put other DBAs underneath the holding company. So what most people do is they go down to the county courthouse and they'll actually do a registration for a business. And then they say they own the business and they doing business as the name of the business. So when you do a state filing, you actually have your LLC who owns the business and they are doing business as, or they call it assumed business as, and then you put DBAs underneath that, or you can put other LLCs underneath it. The whole idea of it is, like I indicated before, is I have a holding company. So therefore, now with my holding company, I'm able to participate in other different industries for its business. Like this Bond Depot, it's an insurance business. Business Service Today, it's a consulting business. List of Grants, it's basically a marketing consulting business. TexasVeterans.com, basically we're a consulting business. We are in the credit business when we actually helping to build permanent positive primary trade lines for individuals, and basically true business lending. We're in the financial or the lending industry. Then also we have true business credit, which is basically in the credit industry. So as you can see, if I was to have SIC codes, service industry codes for each one of these businesses, it'd be kind of chaotic. But I basically only have one called marketing consulting with the Whitener Group LLC. Now, this is what I was sharing with you guys about why to form your Texas LLC. Basically, is you'll be able to pay less taxes. You'll definitely need the LLC for protection, or your incorporation to help you protect your personal and your family's assets. And then also, it's very easy to set these type of things up. It's not hard at all. It may come a little complicated when you're talking about your bylaws or your articles of incorporation or your operating agreements and things like that. But those things are very easy. We have over 8 years of experience and doing these type of things, basically 4 years of experience operating as a real business to do it. But at the same time, it's very easy to set these things up. And here's our website called businessservicestoday.com, where people go there to actually fill out the form so they can get their own business set up. When you look at it and say, what's included when you get your business set up? We basically have two types of setups. And well, let me go here first. We basically have two different types of setup. We have something called a standard type of setup. We have an executive setup. Some people like to have this executive binder. Some people just want to have the very easy binder. And the binder, basically the standard binder, it looks like a binder like this. No big deal about it. It's got 3 rings in it. And it's just basically just a binder that has all your corporate documents in it. And I prefer to have something like this versus the executive binder. It's very easy for me to carry this around and deal with my corporate documents. I'll take them to the bank, do what I need to do. Whenever I need to actually have them to do loans or whatever, certain loan individuals, they take out certain documents, but everything is together in one binder. And we actually put together the binder for $558. That is including the state fee. So the state fee is already $300. So if you look at the math on it, you're only paying $258 for this binder. And then if you look at the executive binder, it's $720. So once again, that's including the $300 state fee. Now, most people say, what exactly does it include? Well, this is what it includes. This is what's in the binder. You basically have your EIN number, you have your W-9s, you have your state filing documents, assumed business name filings, if there are some that's added to there, operating agreement, you have your meetings for your minutes, corporate meetings and minutes, every company in America should have an annual compliance meeting, just so you can stay compliant. And we actually formulate those meetings with you. And we also come up with a one-page document so you can document those meetings. Then we also have your Texas franchise tax filing. This right here is the most hugest thing, because most people, I don't even know if that's a word, hugest, but this is the most important thing. But this is the most important, at least I know I caught myself, right? But this is the most important thing, because most people lose their franchise filing. They lose their state filing. They lose their incorporation filing because they did not do their franchise tax filing. And a lot of people say, well, what the heck is that? Well, what it is that it's a document with Texas, and Texas is kind of weird. Every business, they always say that it is a franchise. Now, it don't make a difference if you don't have a McDonald's or Burger King or anything like that, but they call every business a franchise. And even though it's a mom and pop business, but if you don't do your franchise filing, and basically you can see right here that says it's involuntarily taken away, so therefore what the comptroller wants to do is they want to know, are you, or do you want to have in existence your business for the next year? If you don't, then don't do the filing, and it will take your name away from you. They'll give it to somebody else. But if you want to keep your business going, you want to keep using the name, then you have to do a filing, which is basically, it's a free filing. It doesn't cost you anything. You just have to do it before May 16th every year. But when people become a client of ours, we will do your filing for you. We'll make sure that you stay in existence. And if you ever call us and say you don't want your business anymore, we will actually take over your name of your business, and we'll actually put you together with someone that will actually buy your name. So therefore you can actually then get your money back. So we don't ever want you to lose money doing this, because that's what it's called. Most people sell businesses all the time. You know, that's how the economy is ran.
Mhm.
And you probably say, well, why would somebody sell their business? Or why would somebody want to buy that business? Well, they're buying that business because that business now have history. I just sold a business a couple days, well, actually a couple weeks ago, and I just gave the guy his documents. And basically it's an 8-year-old company. So here it is, a guy formulated this business, and he called it a transportation business. He didn't do anything with it. He had it just sitting there, and he didn't want it no more. So I took it over, and then I turned around, I found somebody that wanted to buy it. So I sold it to him. Okay. So at the same time, if you don't want your business anymore, next couple of years or whatever you want to do, just let us know. We'll take it over, and we're going to find somebody that'll buy it. Okay. That deal with the franchise tax filing. You have a customized corporate seal whenever you get the executive binder. You don't really need a corporate seal whenever you do the LLC and a standard binder, but if you want one, we can get you one. Okay. We also help you with your certificate of filing. That's what you're going to get from the Secretary of State of Texas. You got your certificate of formations. We also would do name searches in order to make sure your name is good to use. We also, your public information report. Public information report is really important because it tells who are the directors in your business. And also, you know, we also have a business login page. We have a business plan page. Then once again, if you'd like to use our office as a registered representative address, so you can have a corporate address, you're more than welcome to use our address. It's okay, it's completely fine. So these are some of the things that you get whenever you either pick the standard binder or you get the executive binder. It doesn't matter to us which one you pick. You know, just pick one, do your filing. We can help you do the filing to make you legal, make you have a business out there. And so therefore you could just continue doing business, rock and rolling. These are some of our sister companies as well. Like I indicated, and I had on the other sheet. So therefore, you know, these are some of the things right there. I've actually wrote a book last year, and I'm in the process of releasing it. And I
Oh, you do, yay.
probably should have been released it by now. Sometimes my lifestyle gets the best of me, and I'm going to be the honest one. You know, my lifestyle does get the best of me. So some of these things I bring on board, you know, the lifestyle gets in the way sometimes, but we're going to get this thing released. I just talked to some a publicist, and we're going to get this released within about the next 3 weeks. And she's holding my feet to the fire on that one. So we're going to get this thing done. Yeah.
Sometimes you just need somebody to be accountable to.
Yeah, that is so true. Because I tell you, when it comes to me personally, me being accountable for myself, oh no, you can forget it. But you know something? I do very well because I do everything for other people. When it comes to me myself, you know, I kind of put my stuff on the back burner, on the back burner, on the back burner, back burner. But well, we're going to go ahead and get this thing done. That's for sure. Is there any questions about, you know, business formations, business structuring that anybody may have a question about?
I have a question. Okay, say if I want to do business in all 50 states, will I have to file something in each and every one of those states?
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's a great
Or
question right there.
registration.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Hey,
I know you
Shannon,
don't,
put yourself on mute.
what you can, excuse me?
I was telling her to put herself on mute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what you have to do is do a trademark registration. It's called a trademark registration where you can actually do business in all 50 states. And so therefore you're able to do that. Please don't do an LLC in every 50 states because then you'll be paying filing fees out the yang. You have to do a trademark registration.
Does that include if you're doing business online, like you have an online store?
Yes and no. Online store, you know, you're not really hurting anybody. There's no huge liability issue whatsoever. If you want to basically just get the LLC so you have access to grants, or you want to get the LLC so you have access to loans or even credit cards, so you can look really legally like a business, then therefore, you know, $300, get the filing done, you're done whatsoever. It really makes sense, you know, to do it that way. Even my business, you know, that's all I'm doing is I just push paper. That's all I do. I just push paper every day. Here's files I'm working on today. I mean, my business doesn't have a liability issue. I mean, I'm not a construction guy. I don't do the over-road trucking. You know, I just sit behind the desk in the computer and just push paper. Do I really need to have an LLC? Really, technically, no. But I have one because I understand the dynamics of what it can do. I understand the dynamics of how it can help my business to grow financially. I understand the dynamics that if I'm instructing other business owners to have something like this, it only makes sense for myself to have one like this. So therefore, you know, I do. And majority of my business, yes, it is all online. 95% of the business I have, it is online. I think one of the questions a lot of people have in the back of their mind is some people say, well, I want to do an S corporation filing. Have you guys ever heard of an S corp?
Yes.
Okay. An S
Yes.
corp is basically is a filing that you do with the IRS. There's no state. States does not recognize an S corporation filing. If you go to the Secretary of State's website right now and you go pull down documents, you will not find an application for an S corporation filing. There's only basically two types of filings, and then they kind of go through sub-levels of that. You either have a C corporation or a LLC. Then you have the LLP, which is a limited liability partnership, and then you can go on, you know, nonprofit, you know, but it goes on through levels. There's a form called 2553 with the IRS that you can convert your C corporation or your LLC into an S corporation. And so all it's going to do is help you to lower your taxes, the taxes that you pay to the government. Now, there is some fundamental qualifications and things that you must do to obtain and to retain that S corporation filing. Like one of them is you must pay yourself a salary. You must take out federal taxes, Social Security taxes, FICA taxes. You must take out those taxes and you must pay them in to those different entities. So therefore you can retain that S corporation filing. And if you do the S corporation filing, if you're not paying yourself a payroll through payroll and taking all those taxes, you really can get yourself in some IRS trouble and some problems. So as long as I've been in business myself, I've never been an S corporation filing. I don't want to have to deal with all that kind of stuff. I just want to basically run my business, do my tax deduction, do my filings, do my once a year filing for the franchise filing. That's it. And I don't want to have to do a monthly filing like an S corporation does. But you can pick whatever lane you want to be in.
So what's the difference between an S corporation and a corporation?
An S corporation basically is just put yourself in a lower tax bracket. A corporation, now I would ask to say, what type of corporation are you really speaking about? You either have a limited liability company or limited liability corporation, it's the same thing. Using the word corporation and company, it's the same thing. Or you're talking about a C corporation. A C corporation have shares of stock where it actually can give out to shareholders. It can actually have ownership shares. It can give away. An LLC doesn't have ownership shares. It has membership shares. An LLC does not have owners. An LLC has members that run the business. And when you look up the legal definition from the IRS, what it says about an LLC, it says a LLC is a limited liability company, a corporate structure whereby the members of the company cannot be held personally liable for the company's debts or liabilities. It's a legal structure where the members of the company cannot be held personally liable for the company's debts or liabilities. When you are an LLC, you basically have in the title of chief executive member. So the whole idea of it is an LLC is that you want to be able to control everything. You control it because you're the highest, but at the same time, you own absolutely nothing. You own nothing at all. The company owns itself. It gets itself in its own trouble. It has its own lawsuit. It has its own liabilities. You don't want that to be transferred over to yourself. That's something called a corporate veil of protection. So it's there to protect you as the eligible member that's running that business. So therefore, you don't have to pay off for the lawsuits or if something was to happen whatsoever. You're just using it as a form of protection.
So if I want to have a nonprofit as well as a LLC, how do I do that? I have to formulate both of them separately, or can one of them be a nonprofit?
No, yeah, one of them can be a nonprofit. It's very unique about the nonprofit with the state of Texas, because you can formulate a nonprofit in the state of Texas for $25. $25. They'll get you your state registration. And then you still have to go do your federal registration. Your federal registration, I normally take that portion and I'll give it out to this gentleman who actually runs, and he owns 3 H&R Block franchises. And so therefore he'll do all my state registration, my federal registrations for the nonprofits and get people in their 501c3s. And I believe the application, just the application alone, is $263 with the IRS in order to get a non-taxable status filing with the IRS. Now there are some other little small incidental charges and fees he charged. I think he charged them like $700 in order to do the whole thing. He has to track the whole thing. He has to do some other stuff. And I'm not too sure about the whole process because I don't really focus on that side. I focus more on the for-profit. He focuses on the nonprofit.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions about anything?
So, I have one business that I want to change the name of, and I didn't pay my franchise tax either. So I guess I'll go to that website that you put up. Let's see, what was it called? businessservicestoday.com.
Yes, you go to business services. Go ahead.
So if I go there to register and let you know what I want, that'll start the process.
Yes, that'll start the process. Absolutely. Yes, that'll start the process. When you go there.
A quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
I have a quick question. I noticed I deal with a lot of investors, buy houses and stuff. And I noticed some of them file corporations in Delaware versus filing the main corporations here. Is that a good thing to do?
Well, from a personal standpoint, I say no, it's not a good thing to do. What they're trying to do here is they're trying to hide the governing authority individual who set the business up. They're trying to hide that because in Delaware, I believe also in Nevada, that they don't have to reveal those individuals who actually set the business up. They don't have to reveal who they are. There is a creative way that you can do the same thing in the state of Texas. You can hide it as well. The biggest problem that you have if you live in Texas and you actually have a Delaware setup is that you're a domestic business in Delaware. That means you will have a foreign registration in the state of Texas. So in order to do business in the state of Texas, go open up a bank account, or even go get a corporate lease. And if they ask you for your state documents, or even to do anything financially to buy a house or anything like that, especially go through a closing, underwriter will require that you actually have a certificate of formation. You have your articles of formation, you have your bylaws, you have your operating agreement. You need to have these documents. And if you're not registered with the state of Texas, you have to get registered as a foreign company. I do those as well. Now, what's the difference here? Well, a foreign registration costs you $750. Just to go ahead and set up a regular LLC in the state of Texas is only $300. I don't really recommend that people do things on the outside, but I cannot tell people what to do. But at the same time, if that's what they want to do, but I do instruct them, and I will show them that if you try to overdo anything, you may get a registration somewhere else, but when you're trying to do business in the state of Texas, you have to pay the $750 to get that business registered. And it's kind of like the same thing with your car. You buy a car in Florida, and then you come to Texas, and you got to get it registered. So if you get it registered in Texas, guess what? You got to pay. It's the same thing.
So with that being said, they don't have to file what you call the trademark registration. It has to be a foreign registration.
Well, that's a little different. If you do a trademark, you're all over all the states. So you're completely different. That's the difference there. If you have a trademark registration, that's completely different. But when you file in Delaware, an LLC or C corporation, then therefore coming in Texas, you have to do business. Now, if you in Delaware and you file a trademark registration, there's no such thing as Delaware trademark registration. Because remember, a trademark registration is a federal. That's for federal, and it's all over. So you could do a registration started in Missouri. You could start a registration in Illinois. It doesn't matter. It's kind of like your taxes. You do your federal income taxes, so therefore you can get your federal income tax return. It doesn't matter which state you do it in. It's called a federal registration. So it's the same thing.
So let me ask you another quick question. So that federal registration is only good within the United States, is that correct?
And Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rico, okay.
In Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is supposed to be like the 51st state that we have. Unofficial, official, something like that. But, you know, I have a login with a company that's called InkFile. No, CorpNet, I do apologize. It's called CorpNet, where somebody comes to my website, they will actually want to get a registration set up or a LLC or C corporation in the state of Montana. Then they actually can go to my website, they can actually click down, they can actually do it all online. I try to be the point of contact with individuals that does a registration in the state of Texas. And the reason why is that because I can actually deal with that person more on a personal level. I can help them out. I can do their franchise filings, and I can just show them some more creative ways in order to get things done, other than just being a number on a website and they just got a registration and that's it.
So how do you recommend realtors set up their business entities in Texas?
I would recommend that a realtor set up as an LLC, number one. If they actually have employees, then I would tell them to actually, like a broker, and you have someone that man in the office, so you're gonna pay them a salary, something like that, is to actually do an incorporation. The whole idea here is that I know that by me being an insurance agent, insurance broker, I carry E&O insurance, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know, do you guys carry E&O insurance as well with realtors?
The broker typically, the broker does.
The broker does, yeah.
Okay.
But we carry
Right.
E&O, like I have a notary business, so I have my own E&O for that.
Okay, yeah, I'm the same way. You know, I'm a notary as well. So yeah, I do have it. But I carry $1 million personally for that as personal liability insurance. But at the same time, I would say that a realtor should do an LLC, because there's a lot of times you'll come across some sweet deals where you can actually take advantage of. And it doesn't make sense to close those deals in your personal name. Something happens, your personal property can be part of the lawsuit. You're giving yourself exposure. And the whole idea of it is that if you're running a business, you know, put that stuff in your LLC name. And I would say do an LLC. And the only reason why, there's another reason why too, because an LLC is so simple. You only have to do a state registration of 2 documents. You got to do something called a public information report. And then also you have to do a no franchise tax due report. Only these 2 documents you need to do every year. When you set up a corporation, you have to do another type of document filing. You got to do filings like at least once a quarter, especially if you're giving out stocks. You may even have to do filings every once a month. So it becomes a little bit more challenging. And I always try to help people to understand to do the most simplest, easiest things to give you the most protection. And that's the LLC.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate it. You guys got any more questions? And you got your contact information? I guess just go to your business services today.
You can go to business services today. You can go right here. You can take a screenshot, take your phone, take a picture of it, whatsoever. You guys have any questions whatsoever, I would love to sit down and have a
You have
conversation.
4 phone numbers, Mark.
Actually, I have 10 phone numbers.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
wow.
I have 10 phone numbers. And, you know, they all do different things. Basically, you know, I always tell people like this, if you want to be respected like Walmart, you should look like Walmart. Walmart has a landline phone number. So guess what? I have a landline phone number. Walmart has a website. So therefore, of course I have one. I have a fax number.
Got Audrey to come back in the room.
You can hear.
Cut it off.
No, he just need to mute his phone or his computer.
And tell Audrey, thank you.
Oh, no.
Thank you. Yes, so I just have to help people understand, you know, you want to be respect like Walmart. You know, you have the .com, you have the website, you have a professional email address at the same time. And even though I show on the screen there the Whitener Group at Gmail, I do also own service at the whitenergroup.com. And so I make everything to match. So it's really, really important. So therefore you want to be respected in business. So you should look like a real respectful business. Okay, I meet a lot of guys and they try to do the trucking thing and they try to do stuff and their email address comes up and they tell me Big Buddy 943 at AOL.com. It's like and then one guy, his website was one name, his email was another name, and then the name of his business was another name. So he was getting $50,000 and the underwriters turned him down because they say, hey, look, they have to match. You just can't come here with these different names like this.
Right.
So it's really important to have them all to kind of match.
I have a question. With that being said, we're talking about grants and loans. Typically, how long does the entity need to be in place in order to qualify for any of those programs?
For as a grant, you could be 2 days out of existence with the Secretary of State of Texas. There's a lot of grant programs basically to deal with, let's say, like Comcast Rise. I won anywhere between $9,000 to $12,000 a grant with them. And basically they took a 30-second commercial about my business and they ran on television and they didn't care how long you're in business. They just need to know, was your business affected because of the pandemic? And you just had to do a scope of business. You have to write out some stuff. Well, you know, just type it out on the computer. And then I was one of the award recipients. But you don't have to be, there's no such thing as seasoning on a lot of these grants. There's one with the city of Houston, it's called a LIFT Fund. You believe you do have to have at least 2 years in existence with them. There's another organization that's called Hello Alice. You don't have to have any seasoning with them at all. They also give away a lot of money for individuals who are minorities. So they give a lot of money away, Progressive give a lot of money away to Hispanics. You have to have 51% and more that you're a business owner, and therefore they'll actually give you money so you can actually go buy cars for your business.
have another question for you. With us being realtors and say we want to get loans, I kind of did a little bit of research, and they were saying that we should have a unique name to where it doesn't necessarily say, look like, okay, we're a realtor, we need a name to where we look more like a business, because sometimes financial institutions don't like lending to real estate agents.
You know, something that is really good thing that you mentioned that. And that's the one topic that I should have spoke about, but I'm glad you brought that up. You're absolutely correct. Your name use is really, really important, that you have a name use that's basically somewhat very common. So when someone reads your name, they don't know exactly what you do. And therefore you could participate in several different type of industries. And if you have the name as realtor, or you have the name as real estate, or you have the name as investments, or you have the name that says holdings, you know, certain financial institutions do not want to do business with you. They do not want you getting $100,000 loan from them, and they're charging you what, let's just say 5%. And then you turn around and taking that 100,000, you breaking it up and you charging people 12% to finish their projects. Because I have guys that do that. They'll charge somebody 12%. So they can actually give them $40,000 to finish up a house, and then they're making 15% on there. They're making 18% return. Or an investment, you're naming your business as investments, you're getting a loan for 100,000, and you're going to dump it into Bitcoins because your business is investment. So a lot of financial institutions, they do not want to loan you or to do business with you because of your name. So you're absolutely correct to that. So I would encourage people to use something, and then you put associates, or you put group, or do you put enterprise, or you put enterprises behind that name. It could be either your last name, or it could be something very creative that you have a combination of your children's name and your name, or maybe your grandmother's name or something like that. And then you put enterprises, say business, or you say business group, or you say something like that. So they'll give you some creative ways in order to come up with a name.
That's a good question. Yeah. That's why we're going to change ours, because ours is Kirk Van Properties, and it's like, that's real estate. You can tell just by the name. So
Right.
we'll be
So
changing.
what I would do in a situation like that is that come up with a parent company. So the parent company would definitely be the holding company, and it would actually own that name and their properties that you just said.
Okay.
So I mean, don't get rid of it. I mean, they're already there. You might as well keep using it, because you have the history, number one. You don't want to get rid of that time history that you have. So you have time in use with the name that's being registered with the Secretary of State of Texas. So you can have your holding company owns that. So now when you have the holding company owns it, the holding company goes after all the loans and all the lines of credit and all the credit cards for the business. That's what you want to do. So you can start that whole process of having a holding company.
Okay. And so having a holding company, is that a different process, or it's the same process?
It's the same process.
Okay.
It just, to me, I'm kind of big on words. You know, I'm big on like using powerful words. So it's just a different. It's the same process. That's all it is. It's the same process. It's a company that owns another company.
Yeah.
So the parent company is a holding company, and you have other companies underneath it. So it's the same thing. It's just the way you structure.
Okay. Well, we're at the top of the hour. If you guys got anything else, I'm gonna let you go and on with the rest of your day and form some more businesses.
Okay. Well, I'm headed to San Antonio, and I have my sister. She's actually in town to. She's doing some nurse training. She's like a second-degree master nurse or something like that. You know, she's in the medical field.
Sound like karate. Second
Yeah,
degree
something like that,
master, black belt nurse.
Yeah. She corrects me all the time whenever I say something about medical or something, but you know, it's kind of unique that I understand business and they understand medical. So, you know, we all kind of gel together as a family, make all of our stuff work. So, you know, I will be in San Antonio. So Saturday, tomorrow morning, and Sunday, but I will be back on Monday. But if you need to talk to me or call me, please text me. We do have 2 cell phones that's out in the field. So we actually, you know, do things all the time. All my office phone numbers to my office are forwarded to my phones, using technology, so I never miss a phone call. So if you guys have any questions, please reach out to us.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you guys very much.
All
Thank you.
right, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.